Look how much African American communities have suffered under Democratic control. Tonight, I'm asking for the vote of every single African American citizen in this country who wants to see a better future.
Well, Donald Trump, they're making his case to African American and Hispanic voters, arguing that the Democrats have abandoned them.
Here to weigh in, Republican strategist Philip Stutz and Democratic strategist Evangeline Gomez. Thank you both for joining us so early this morning.
Good morning.
So off the very top, let's take a look at this poll. This is from the LA Times and USC, and it shows Clinton up 82.9% compared to Trump's 12.8% when it comes to the African American vote. So, Philip, I'll start with you. Is it possible for Donald Trump to change those numbers, and what does he need to do in order to do that?
Well, I think you've seen the beginning of it, which is reaching out. Listen, there's no way you're going to start out and take the African-American vote by one speech, and the African-American community knows that. I think he's trying to build a coalition to get his numbers up in the African-American community, in the Hispanic community, so he can build a coalition in key states in order to compete with Hillary Clinton right now. And so the bottom line, the key is try to get those numbers up just a little bit more than what they have right now.
Well, Evangeline, this is not just a Donald Trump thing. I mean, you look at some of our exit polling from the past 2 cycles in terms of how Democrats and Republicans have done with the African-American vote. I mean, it really is not even close. You look at this 2008, 95% of black voters went with President Obama. 2012, 93% voted for President Barack Obama.
The problem here is that Donald Trump is viewed by many people in the African-American community as being the originator of the birther movement, where he attacked President Obama personally and politically, saying he had no legitimacy. Number 2, do we remember the days of the Central Park Five? These were Hispanic and black youths who were exonerated, found innocent, and yet he was calling that the death penalty be imposed on them. He took out an ad in a major newspaper in New York City. And then once the city reached a settlement with them, he said it was ridiculous and it was a disgrace.
Well, that
These
settlement was
serious issues in the African-American community, and this is something that has been reflected in the polls. One recent poll has him at 1%, Wall Street Journal poll, and a prior poll had him at 0% support among African Americans. Wow. I don't think the overtures he's making now are going to make any type of significant
Philip, go ahead.
Well, listen, I mean, right now, 4 years ago, 8 years ago, McCain and Romney were polling at about 5% of the African-American vote. If you look at a combination of different polls right now, Trump is around 3. And so he needs to get 2, 3 more points in key states and build another coalition of white Democrats, turning out new voters, turning out between 25, 27% of the Hispanic vote. Right now he's at 20%. That's the makeup of what he's got to do to get elected.
And Evangeline, what about, I mean, respond to that in terms of the economic numbers of the African-American community. I mean, that's what Donald Trump is out there right now trying to speak to. And, you know, as Philip said, what, 4 in 10 African-Americans live in poverty. 58% of African-American youth don't have jobs right now.
And what plans has Donald Trump proposed to alleviate these situations? I have not heard any at this point. If he's going to create some, that's fine, but at this point, there is no trust for the candidate Donald Trump. The comments he's made against Hispanics, immigrants, and Muslims leave African Americans thinking, hey, what's that famous Martin Niemöller poem? I mean, that's exactly the situation you have right now, and I just don't see any significant numbers coming out of whatever.
Well, we are beginning to see a change in tone. And I think Donald
Trump, of tone.
Well, and Donald Trump's campaign manager, she spoke yesterday. She said that he had the best week yet last week. Take a listen to what she had to say.
This was the best week, I think, so far in the Trump campaign, mostly because he's able to be himself, the authentic Donald Trump. He has said that he regrets causing personal pain to those who feel it based on things that he has said. I do believe that this is what people appreciate.
Philip, what, less than 80 days now, but in politics, really anything can happen in that amount of time. Can he make a comeback in the polls where it really counts in the swing states? Yeah,
Abby, that's a really great point. Anything can happen. Listen, think about this. North Carolina starts mailing ballots in 3 weeks. Florida votes before Halloween. We're not just looking at 85 days. We're looking at sometimes a lot less than that, where the vote is actually going to start happening. It's coming, guys. And so the reset's great. know, I don't think he's in Hail Mary zone. I think he's throwing a 30-yard pass down the field right now. But listen, the 4 critical states, North Carolina, Ohio, Florida, and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is kind of out of reach right now. So he's got to find another group of states that make up for those electoral votes. You could find that in Nevada, in New Hampshire, in Iowa, and possibly Virginia. But the numbers on the electoral count look tough right now, and he's got to have a major reset. And then if there's an October surprise, which there very well could be, that would be the key difference.
There has been an October surprise before. We've seen that happen.
A good point, Heather.
Thank you both for joining us. Philip, we appreciate it. Evangeline as well.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys.